Rallies called off. Coronavirus concerns canceled the events of Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden here in Cleveland. We're live with what happens next. Strongsville staple. How you roll photos at this iconic restaurant could land you a free meal. A different victory. The win WNBA star Maya Moore just had off the court.
Do you want to be on the edge of your seat?
And behind the quiet place, what the stars of the Thriller sequel think about the new movie.
From the WKYC studios, this is Front Row.
And just in tonight, Democratic presidential candidates Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden have both canceled their rallies tonight in Cleveland over coronavirus concerns. Our Mark Namick and Lena Lai are standing by to brief us on what happened and what comes up next. But first, we want to get you caught up on another busy day on this Tuesday night here on Front Row. Sarah is here with tonight's 77 Seconds.
A lot of coronavirus updates, Jimmy, so let's get you right to it.
Today, Governor Mike DeWine recommended all Ohio colleges go online, and he says no fans at indoor sports after 3 coronavirus cases were confirmed in Cuyahoga County yesterday. Several colleges, including Case Western, Kent State, Akron, and John Carroll, will close briefly before going fully remote. Many schools within the Jewish community are also closed or have students in quarantine as safety precautions. On the sports side, the OHSAA will proceed with high school basketball regionals tonight, but a decision will be made tomorrow morning for those games. Meanwhile, UH says 6 of its caregivers were in close contact with the 3 confirmed patients. Those caregivers were given coronavirus tests and are in quarantine until the results return. News today that Fifth Third Bank opened fake accounts similar to Wells Fargo to meet sales targets. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has filed a lawsuit after regulators say Fifth Third knew its employees set up accounts and credit cards without customers' knowledge since at least 2008 and up until 2016. And we say goodbye to a Browns favorite. The team waived linebacker Christian Kirksey today. He posted a farewell message on Twitter after the news, thanking Cleveland.
Great guy, great player.
He was on Twitter thanking so many people
he's
today,
a great guy,
and
yeah.
The players were reaching back out to him, Jarvis Landry, several others saying, what a great guy he is. We're going to miss him.
Yeah, unfortunately, the last couple of years, because he played every play through like the first 4 years of his career, and unfortunately for him, he played on a lot of bad teams, okay? But it wasn't his fault. But the last 2 years, when things turned a little bit, he had these injuries that kept him out. So I think he missed 23 games over the last couple of years.
And it obviously factored into their decision. We have to update you, too. We just heard from the MAC, a statement out about, of course, the women's and the men's basketball tournaments that are scheduled to take place here in Cleveland, as they do every year over at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So the women's tournament begins tomorrow. They are now saying officially that these are closed to the public. Only the credentialed media, personnel, student athlete, family members, which was unclear maybe how many of those would be invited.
I've heard the number might be 3 per player, and there'll be a call list of that players will submit as part of their party, their school's team roster, and then those people would be allowed.
And that's who you would have it. But this is so different than as a MAC student myself, it's so exciting every year to have this tournament here in Cleveland. So you really are starting to see these impacts trickle down across the board, and who knows how it's going to impact the NCAA March Madness games, which there are also some of in Cleveland coming up next week.
Friday and Sunday of next week. So we're going to have the MAC Commissioner coming up tonight at 11 o'clock here on Channel 3.
Great.
Thanks, Sarah. See you in a couple of minutes. All right, so live tonight at 7, 2 Democratic presidential candidates planned to rally with Clevelander voters tonight. But now we know that Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are not inviting the public out. Mark Namick explains the precautions the Sanders camp is taking. Lena Lai explains the Biden camp. We'll start with Mark. And for Senator Bernie Sanders, I know he's looking for momentum after a tough Super Tuesday and really wants Ohio. And what's the mood over there as his camp decides to cancel that event, Mark?
Hi, Jimmy. It is quiet for obvious reasons without a crowd, because retail politics is all about crowds and handshakes. People want a front row to see that candidate. And you have these big rallies to motivate really your supporters. You're not convincing those people to back you. You want your message out and you want them out rallying for your candidate really 7 days from now when 136 delegates will be up for grabs. Now, you mentioned it. This is a really important state because Michigan, which we don't have results for yet, could be a really important bellwether for how Bernie Sanders does in the Midwest. He won that state in 2016, but Hillary Clinton won big here, and he didn't do too well. So we're going to hear more about his message tonight with his top surrogate, Nina Turner, at 11.
All right, Mark, thanks for the story from the Sanders camp. Joe Biden did the same thing, telling all voters to stay away tonight. Lena Lai is live at the Tri-C Rec Center that was supposed to be lively by now because they've got a lot of momentum, Lena. And now behind you, I mean, just really empty.
Right, except for the crews who are working busily to try to clear the area and asking everybody to get out of the building by 8 p.m. tonight. You know, a lot of disappointment from supporters tonight. You know, Biden was actually in Columbus earlier this afternoon, but he was only speaking at a closed event, and it was only in front of just a few dozen supporters. But, you know, for the big rally tonight that was supposed to start at 8:30, the Biden camp decided to cancel over coronavirus concerns. They made the decision about 4:30 this afternoon, long before any of the crowds were expected to show up here at Tri-C at about 8:30 tonight. But, you know, it was supposed to be a huge night for the local Democratic Party and for Cleveland and Cuyahoga Democrats, you know, being the epicenter for the Democratic Party as 6 other states tally up the votes. We are hearing now that Biden will be in Philadelphia to address the media and, again, a small group of supporters as they await primary election results tonight. Jimmy?
All right, Lena, thanks very much. We'll have all those results coming up at 11 o'clock tonight, and then, of course, the Ohio primary coming up next week. Now, as we move on, you have a chance to visit Cedar Point for free, May 2nd and 3rd. The park is offering admission to celebrate Cedar Point's 150th anniversary season. Admission is free from noon to 6 every day, but you'll have to pay about $20 to ride the rides. And we have all the information about how to reserve your free tickets at WKYC.com/Cedar Point. Hourly employees will soon get paid sick leave at several big restaurant chains. Darden Restaurants plan to change its sick leave policy sometime in the future, but says it's speeding up the process because of coronavirus. This is for employees of restaurants like Olive Garden and Longhorn Steakhouse. Current employees can use the benefit immediately, and their starting balance is based on their most recent 26 weeks of work. It's a Strongsville staple and one of my favorites, Don's Pomeroy House. The restaurant is also a large part of history. Lindsey Buckingham explains how it's celebrating both titles this week.
A Strongsville landmark reaches a milestone this month. Don's Pomeroy House restaurant will mark its 40th anniversary. The estate, built in the 1800s, was part of the Underground Railroad. It was the last stop on the way to Lake Erie.
These are some of the Polaroid pictures that were taken by people here for special occasions.
Peter Strang's father, Don, began converting the home into a fine dining restaurant in 1979. The restaurant opened the following year. Over the past 4 decades, thousands of Clevelanders have come to Don's Pomeroy House for celebrations.
Years ago, we started this program where people would come in and we often ask, is this an anniversary or birthday? And because we were getting such a huge response that people were using this as a special occasion place, we started providing a 1-pound chocolate eclair that anybody that has a birthday or anniversary gets as a complimentary gift or dessert after their meal.
Now, they're asking for anyone who has celebrated at Don's Pomeroy House to share their memories and some of those now faded Polaroids on their Facebook page. They showed us some of the pictures and menus they've collected over the years.
We had some, inexpensive items from, $4 hamburgers back in the day to $12 steaks. So times have changed, but we still continue to provide the same hospitality and service that we did when we opened.
Some of those cheap eats are coming back. They're rolling prices back in the pub with a throwback menu. And sharing some of those photos could score you a free dinner at Don's for 5 people. Lindsey Buckingham, 3 News.
Well, when we come back, it was a surprise hit when it came to theaters. What surprises you'll see on A Quiet Place 2 in a behind-the-scenes look. Plus, an innocent mistake. What caused the Dutch Prime Minister to have a laugh during a coronavirus press conference? And Michael Estime in tonight. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Jimmy. Good to see you this evening, and good to see you as well. And guess what? We made it to 67 degrees yesterday, but we have numerous 60s in that 10-day forecast. We'll show you that coming up right after this.
Front Row is sponsored by Window Nation. Online at windownation.com.
What does it mean to be the best? Best friend. Best dad. Best at what you do. You bring your personal best to your life, which is why we bring our personal best to you. Mercedes-Benz of Bedford. Personal best.
Here we go with 3 on 3 on this Tuesday night. Sarah's back. Mike Polk Jr. is back too.
Hi.
As we get to it. First up, a little laugh amid coronavirus concerns. Seconds after the Dutch Prime Minister announced a new policy to not shake hands for health reasons, he greeted the director of the Dutch National Institute for Public Health with a handshake. Nobody's perfect. Now, I have to tell you, I am cumbersome right now knowing what to do. It's a reflex.
It is.
Yeah, it's a reflex.
Absolutely. And it's almost, you have this natural thing in the back of your head too where it's disrespectful not to offer.
Right.
We're being
well.
automatic.
Yeah.
I said we need to go back and watch this story where you offered us all of these options last week, right?
Yeah, people did look kind of.
Well, that was a public service.
I'm not sure everybody. You're welcome.
I like the
everybody.
namaste. That one was my favorite.
Think how many
as I
lives we
remember.
probably saved with that.
If only that had been played in the Netherlands, I think this guy would he wouldn't have made 3 on 3.
Tell me though, it wouldn't. Tell me it isn't even worse right now. A little bit. Have you run into somebody at the grocery store yet who recognizes you from something, and they're just like, "Hey," and I'm just like, "Can we do this?" And then you're a super jerk,
right.
and they're just like, "Now you're who do you think you are? I hated you on Fox 8 too." That's what they say to me. That's what they say.
Is that what they say?
No, but I can see it in their eyes. I can see it in their eyes.
The elbow bump is weird.
I think I don't know what to do. I really don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Tough choices.
Yeah, they really
I'm
are.
fine with the elbow bump. I just don't want to insult anyone. That's all.
Okay. Go ahead. Do you have?
I was just going to say I headed off with just being like, I know we can't shake hands, so
Right.
kind of thing.
Beat them to it.
Like you don't want to either. It might be me that's Jeremy.
Right.
Yeah, that's disarming and good.
That's good.
Yeah, there we go. Check out this home attracting tourists in South Africa. Not only is the outside upside down, the inside is also totally inverted with rooms that have sofas and chairs hanging from the ceiling. The kitchen is also upside down with appliances appearing to defy gravity. This is a home that possibly Kyrie Irving should consider living in. I mean, the world is flat, things like that.
Yep.
There you go.
If it is.
What do you think of that joint? Do you want to walk through there, Sarah?
I do. It kind of to me looks like something that's been built for Instagram's sake or something.
Yes.
You know, like the photo you saw with the kid there being held upside down on the toilet.
Or there would be an upside down filter that kids are using that I'm not aware of or something like that. How much?
That might have been easier than building this house.
How much did this cost?
Yeah, exactly. I do want to know that. And can we all agree that that's Lionel Richie's dream house? That is a Dancing on the Ceiling reference on Front Row. First one I believe we've ever made on here. You're welcome, everybody. One last thing.
You've really made 2 big ones. That and the Fox 8 reference.
You're right.
Really,
dropping left and right.
That's an icebreaker.
I don't have anything
Back in
else
college,
to say.
did you ever wake up in bad shape maybe and you weren't exactly sure where you were? Back in your salad days. Because I know I did. Imagine waking up in that house and just being like,
whoa.
I gotta go back to sleep for a little
last
while.
night?
Maybe try to shake this off. So I'm just saying, perspective.
There you go. We'll end with a really good story. WNBA star Maya Moore, terrific player, has been MIA from the basketball court for the last 2 years for a very different kind of victory. Yesterday, a Missouri man that she's been helping get out of prison was granted clemency. Now, this is something that I saw a story about this, that she was unbelievably committed. And the WNBA was saying, please come back and play.
Yeah, where are
She's
you?
a great player, but she said, I'm totally committed to this. Now, didn't Kim Kardashian do something
did.
like this too?
She did.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know Maya very well or anything, but I think it's so cool to see these celebrities use their influence for something like this, not seemingly within their wheelhouse, but that they're able to shine a a light on that maybe somebody else wouldn't pay attention to otherwise.
The most impressive thing to me about it is, and it's remarkable, is you know better than anybody, that's 2 years of her prime career that she took off to dedicate to this. That's not like me taking a couple of years off for somebody, you know, like that is her prime career right there, and she lost 2 years. That's dedication, and that's respectable.
That really
that's
is.
All. It was.
That's remarkable. Really, that's a great story to end with on 3 on 3. Time for the weather right now, and here's Michael Estime.
Yeah, Sarah, Jimmy, and Mike, good to see you guys this evening. And by the way, so how I've gotten away with not shaking hands is just to tell people that I have a cold, even if I don't have a cold. Take the responsibility and put it on yourself.
Right. Yep.
I don't know about deception.
Let's all lie like Michael Estime to people.
Well, now they're going to say, Michael,
do you go like to the cold and antihistamine aisle? Are you there? To really carry it through.
That is so true. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Hey, so tonight actually, for all intents and purposes, not a bad looking night for us. Obviously, we were dealing with the rain earlier. We will continue to slip and fall through the 30s overnight tonight before we land around freezing, if not just a little below freezing overnight tonight. But thankfully that rain has come to an end. A live look at radar showing that we're nice and dry from Cleveland down to Akron. Canton, you're looking great this evening as well. Big picture though showing you not only where the rain is, that was a cold front, but notice I'll overlay temperatures on here and notice the blue that you're seeing behind that green, that belt to rainfall. That just means that again, cooler temperatures are on the way. So say goodbye to the 67 degrees that we made it to yesterday. Temps right now lakeside in the 30s. We're a little warmer inland. One of the reasons why we're a touch cooler right along the lake is because of that northerly flow between 5 to 10 miles per hour, helping to suppress the temperatures. Fog possible overnight tonight as well, but notice that we'll keep things nice and dry with clearing skies. I think that by first thing tomorrow morning, we'll call for variable clouds, not only during the morning, but also during parts of the afternoon. A sprinkle can't be ruled out of the question, or a quick passing shower. I think we'll see temperatures easily make it into the upper 40s tomorrow. So long story short, not a bad looking day tomorrow. Notice though that by Friday, again, a couple of changes in store as temperatures land around 50 before another push of cool air into this upcoming weekend. But you're not seeing any extreme heat in there. You're not seeing any extreme cold in there. So really, Jimmy, when you look at that 7-day forecast, it's a very late winter, almost spring type pattern where you're kind of battling between the really cold Arctic stuff and the spring type weather. So
I am right there at the point where do I take my driveway markers out for the snowplow?
I wouldn't do it
okay.
just
All right.
yet, but yeah, I was going to say,
right.
give it another couple of weeks, and I think we'll be good.
On your advice, I will do that. When we come back, the behind-the-scenes look at the next thriller you don't want to miss, and what John Krasinski's kids think of his movie star career. It was a surprise smash hit, and now Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are prepping for the release of A Quiet Place 2. Entertainment Tonight's Kevin Frazier goes behind the scenes of the new thriller.
Jim, come on, man. Shh. Silence is golden on the set of A Quiet Place 2. And star Emily Blunt softly sells us on why you don't want to miss it.
And action! Do you want to be on the edge of your seat? Come and see Quiet Place Part 2. You're gonna need a drink after it.
Emily needs to calm her nerves after the silent thriller sequel, but her husband and director John Krasinski is hoping to avoid sequel-itis.
This is a thank you note to the audience who came out for our first. So I had to make a part 2 and a continuation of the first one, so it didn't feel like a sequel. It had all the same heart and certainly, I think, more scares, more intensity.
But the series is still a little too intense for John and Emily's 2 young daughters.
Emily says this movie's PG-40 for our kids. Oh, I'm pretty sure they think I'm an accountant. Like, they have no idea what I do. When I do Jack Ryan in this movie, because I can't watch any of it, I just say I'm going to work, and they're like, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure, Dad. Dad's claiming to be in the same business as Mom. That's weird.
Of course, we'll have much more of John and Emily this week on ET, but you also want to tune in tonight when the Property Brothers guest co-hosts on our show. Here's a little teaser for you. They're making a big announcement And trust me when I tell you, it's going to be oh so good. I'm Kevin Frazier. Back to you.
Kevin, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. But coming up after our final timeout, a fake out or a cop out? Why this local boys' wrestling moves are going viral.
Here's what's coming up tonight on 3. Trust the experts at Stanek Windows. We make the process easy. No hassles, no middlemen. Just beautifully crafted quality windows built to last. Call us today.
And before we go, you got to check out this wrestling match, and it came to us out of Akron. On Twitter, the mom of the boy on the right says his name is Jeremiah. Jeremiah either wasn't as ready as he thought, or he wanted to fake out his opponent at their match, which was held at Coventry High School. He's out of there. The video, as you can imagine, in today's world, has gone viral. And Jeremiah has really arrived now because it has even been picked up by SportsCenter on ESPN.
Oh, that's huge.
Now, there are athletes who go through their entire lives and only want to be on, their big goal is to be on SportsCenter, and already Jeremiah has made it.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Good for him. Thanks very much for being with us. Entertainment Tonight is coming up next, and we're all back at 11 o'clock. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you for spending the evening with 3 News. Watch us live wherever you are, on our website, on our apps, and on YouTube, Hulu, or Roku. It's 3 News, wherever, whenever.